chill.
¿Sabes que yo hablo así? Eso es otra cosa, es mi tono de voz, carajo. Soy latina.
Relax.
Soy latina. Welcome to Remember to Forget.
Easy spirituality for curious souls with Danny
And Alex.
Hello and welcome back to another episode
of Remember to Forget. And this is going to be our first recorded episode, so we are very excited for that. Today we are going to talk about...
Today we're going to talk about the masks, about characters and personalities that we do play in society, in the family, in partnerships and so on. So let's dive deeper and discuss about this. What do you think? Do you play a role at the moment?
I think that, like it or not, we do tend to play certain roles. And I can see that, for example, I'm a positive, friendly person. And maybe, especially when I'm having my period, I have like 2 or 3 days that I'm not so friendly and talkative person. And I can see the people around me, they start, are you fine? Everything is good. And sometimes I do have that thought of, is it something wrong? You know what I mean? But the feeling that I have is not that I put myself the role of a friendly and talkative person, but unconsciously people start expecting that from me. So I did have that thought once, that day I wanted to be on silence, and I had so many people like, is everything all right? So the feeling that I have is not always is kind of, we were cabin crew before, so there we had to be smiling all the time, but not always is that the work is putting you something, is that suddenly your personality defines a type of role, and whenever you are not on the mood or another character start to play in, it feels kind of weird.
For me, I would say that normally I tend to be more into the roles and characters that we playing whenever we starting to grow up, about be an educated kid and you can behave in this way with your parents, where you're going in opposite, you're starting to be a rebellion, so wherever you are with your parents you're going into opposite side. Or whenever you at work you try to be an exemplar colleague, so you're gonna please everyone just for them to like you. And I'm talking about this kind of mask where you normally, it's not you. Kind of, if nobody sees you, are you gonna still be playing in this way? Or whenever kind of a movie starts to play, you kind of getting into a role that for some reason or others you choose at some point in your life. And it can be many of them, not just one.
Yeah, 100%. One of the masks that for me in one moment was super hard to hold, it was a cabin crew mask. I start to have the feeling of, is sometimes I didn't want it to be just a smile because we were fatigued, we were sleeping very bad. And at the end is you had to be smiling, and I don't care if your life sucks, but you had to be always a positive and smiling person. And then sometimes I was arriving in the hotel or at home, and I was taking out the uniform, and I was kind of...
It's like the Joker coming back home. It's kind of all the smile just...
Yeah, exactly. And it was feeling so heavy to be carrying a smile that it wasn't mine, because it's not genuine anymore. It's not that you are smiling, it's that you've been reported if you are not going to smile.
But like this, I guess that it's how a good part of our life it goes, because most of the time we either at work or either we do something, so we are not spending so much time by ourselves normally. So playing someone you can hold whenever you're outside. So whenever you're coming back home, you kind of can relax and can leave all of this stuff. For me, all of this, it's a lot of weight. It's kind of carrying with you a lot of weight in life, and even not being aware of how much is holding you back to be yourself. Because, for example, you can ask, if nobody sees you, what you're gonna do? which Alex would you be? What does it like? How it behave with people? How it behaves with animals? And how you would act?
Yeah,
No?
there is actually so two philosophers they were talking about a situation where a guy could put an invisible cap, and what he done is he went and he raped the love of his life and he killed the husband. So the concept of that is whenever you are not going to have any punishment, how would you behave? So are you being a nice, friendly person because actually this is who you are, or for fear of punishment?
Well, this is a different thing because, of course, you can have some traumas and some different kind of psychology problems where your satisfaction or your true nature will be raping someone or to,
yeah, I'm not talking
to
about
molest someone, no?
going to the extreme, but it's the same of the movie. What's the name of the movie?
The purging?
The Purge.
The purge.
So it's the same. If society allows you from one day to do whatever you want, how you would behave? How would you behave when no one is watching you? How would you behave when there is no punishment?
For sure we get domesticated, no? Otherwise we can go into the instincts and we'll start to hit the kids, to steal whatever we want, and it's going to be a chaos. Of course, for that you need to be domesticated and to know what's right, what's good, which is perfect, and in the same time it's limiting your true self.
100%.
So this is what I want to talk about, that in order to have a fulfilled life, you need to know your true self.
Yeah, but the thing on that is, I fully agree what you are saying. And what I'm saying with this is, the mask, it has two faces of the mask. There is a part of the mask of social control that, as you said, if everyone is just doing whatever they want, maybe in anarchy utopian society, maybe we will be a much better person. Or maybe we are not. So there is a part of the mask that it kind of makes sense. And there is another part of the mask, that is what we are talking, that sometimes there is people that they are working the whole day, and if you are asking them, would you like to change your work and work less hours? But not on the philosophical. It's like, I give you the opportunity of working less hours. There is a lot of people that they will choose to keep working a lot so they don't have to sit alone and actually realizing that they are living a life that is not them.
I would say that the people not aware about this, because if you'll ask anyone, would you like to work less and you'll be paid the same, they will say, yeah, of course. But in true perspective, actually it's happening opposite, where people choose to work more just not to sit with themselves for too long, not to sit with the mind for too long, because the mind is starting to...
Yeah, and at the end we live a life, and that's why there is so many people that they start getting very big crises at 60 or 70 whenever they get their retirement. Because you're born, they send you to school, then university, you keep working, and you are your whole life without any space for actually sitting with yourself and thinking, who am I?
Yeah, reevaluate your life and reevaluate who are you.
And then in the moment that you start maybe organizing something, then you have kids, and now all your time is taken. So at the end, whenever you reach 60, you had that thought of, okay, did I actually accomplish what I wanted to do? Did I have a happy life? Did I actually felt myself expansive? And normally, the answer is not a pleasant answer.
Sure. Well, that's the sad part of reaching to a certain moment in your life and say that, well, actually, everything that I done it because of others. I done it because to please my mom, I done it to please my boss, I done it to please with whoever you've been related at that point. It's like, in fact, I don't want this, I don't want that. And it's not that you start to make bad things to other people. No, it's just to do something which pleases yourself, and in the same time to not abuse anybody else around you. So kind of having a balance between your willings and your wishes, and as well not perturbating anyone else. It's kind of something expensive, and even more, it's kind of doing things that you really like, and maybe includes others, and maybe kind of bringing other people into your game and playing together as kids.
Yeah, but also what you are saying is we live in a society that is very sacrifice-based. So what nowadays is kind of changing a little bit more, but it's a feeling of, okay, you give all your life to give it to your kids, and then your parents grow, so you had to take care of them. But it's always from a place of guilty and fear. It's not from a place of I do like my family, because everyone will say, yeah, I love my family. But then when you're actually sitting with them, is I postpone the kids are an anchor, all parents are an anchor. So we live in a society, or we tend to live from a place of shame and guilt. So we don't allow ourselves to enjoy life. And even if you're enjoying, you go for that holidays that you wanted, and you spend the 2 weeks rushing because you had to maximize your rest, you had to maximize your trip, and you have a thought of you of how do I dare to enjoy it when there is people that they cannot, for example.
Well, depending the approach that you get. For me, it will be more of I have to maximize my vacation. I have to make it worth it, and after you finish the vacation, you're actually more tired than
you need
being
holidays, of course.
Yeah, but this is what you say. True.
Yeah, so at the end is to have the time. First, to have the time is a luxury, but to make the time also to reframe and to understand how do you want to live your life, how do you want to show yourself for others, but especially for yourself. How would you like to be seen in a mirror as your own reflection? That I think that is super important, because like this you are not running away from your own projection. You are saying, yeah, actually I do like this, call it a role, character, or whatever. And when I'm reaching home, yeah, maybe the work asks me to smile, but when I'm reaching home, I'm still at peace with what I'm seeing in the mirror. And I think that that's kind of, this is what I believe that is success, because it's when you're living from an authentic point of view, when you can be yourself, and when you're actually what people are expecting from you, or what the job is liking about you, is you. And in relationship is, sometimes it happens that you meet someone and you start to play a game or play a character that is not yours. So you know that the other person like adventures people. So then you're doing skydiving and scuba and all this kind of thing, and then you are freaking scared about all this stuff. And you are playing a role for long time, or as long the in love season expires, and then you finish next to the other person saying, who are you? And now the person doesn't like all these sports anymore, and actually he was liking all the time to be inside home and watching video games. It's like, yeah, but you are so different from the person that I met.
I believe that we all do change along the life, but sure, it's important to take a pause and to ask yourself, am I happy with who am I? And then going into this topic of reflecting about who are you, what are you doing, if what you do fulfills you, if these are wishes coming from you or maybe from somebody else, and then eventually to go to kind of to dig until you're reaching the core of who you are, and from there to start living the life and to do things that you really like. And you don't have a right description of what's a successful life or what's a successful character or personality. It's very true to yourself. It's kind of coming back to your authenticity of what you're liking to do, and that can be from gardening to cooking to being a software engineer, and to create from this perspective.
Yeah, and also what I find interesting is now with all these multiverse stories, so people are thinking, okay, in another dimension, I will love to do this. And actually the work is not changing the dimension. It's not that suddenly you do have to appear as a Oscar, Grammy, Latin Words winner. It's more, okay, how this project, if you see yourself in the mirror, how would you like to be seen, and how to bring that gap closer. So it doesn't necessarily has to be about having a win award, but is what is the feeling of that will make me a better reflection. And from a place of acceptance also, no? It's okay, in this life, I having this, what are my good points, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and how do I work on that? But not from a place of self-punishment, but from a place of bringing the strength up and actually embracing every part of you. Because sometimes we go so much into shadow work that we forget actually what our good stuff.
Well, this is different topic that we could go into another moment. But I would say taking a pause and reflecting about who are you, living a life that you would like to or not, and what you can do for that. I think it's super important to ask such questions and to understand what's your authentic part, who is the real Alex, who is the real Daniela, and to just sit with it and to see it, and not to have an immediate reply, but just take a pause and to kind of arriving just here and now, and to see from there what reply comes. And with this, I would say that for today's topic, we will end up here, and we'll catch you, all of you, next time.
See you next week, and yeah, thank you so much for accompanying us in our first video. We do have Spotify also with other different audios, so welcome and subscribe in the campanita.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.